Hello there, sweetheart. So, you want to know what's going on between you and this person? No worries. Let's take a look at this connection and see what my cards have to say. So, this is you and them, your weekly love reading with me, Cesmina, here on Cesmina Tarot. As always, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Let's get a card to see how your person feels about you right now to start the reading off. So this is where they currently stand in this connection. This card looks at how they're feeling about you and the relationship right now. You have the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so they're feeling a little anxious. Why is that? They're feeling like they have to hold back and maybe even hide how they really feel. Okay, so they're avoidant, right? They feel a lot for you. They think about you a lot, but they're not about to admit that. What's weird is that I don't feel like they're pulling away. Like, it doesn't feel like they're distant to me. It feels more like they're closed off, maybe acting more casual with you or something. But we'll get more into that in their next card. But otherwise, this person, they think about you a lot to the point where they're causing themselves anxiety. Like they feel vulnerable and exposed here. Like, yeah, like they care too much and like they need to pull back a little or at least hide their emotions. They're like, oh no, I care for this person. I really, really like this person. I love this person even. And I think you knowing that or you finding that out is just too much for them. So I feel like right now they want to play it cool. They want to act casual and just take things down a notch. It's honestly like they're scared of giving you that kind of power over them. I think they're scared of you knowing how much they care about you and about this relationship. But what's weird is I think you know. I really do think that. I don't think that anything I've said in this card has come as a shock to you. Let's actually get your card now because we've moved into that energy. Yeah, I definitely think you know, or you're starting to catch on. What do we have here? So this card is where you currently stand in this connection, your emotional energy, how you're feeling about them, and where you are mentally and emotionally. You have the Four of Wands. Oh, wow. Yeah, you already knew that. You know how they feel about you and you're over the moon with it. You're thrilled because that's how you feel. And I think it's nice to finally see them matching your energy. I think they're doing it their own way, but they are matching your energy. And I feel like you do your very best to show up for this person, to show them how much they mean to you. I think maybe you choose action over words because I could definitely see words being too much for this person here. But yeah, I think you reply quickly. And when you do, you're engaged. Like you aren't a dry texter with this person. I feel like you make time for this person. I think you give them time to process emotions if that's something that they struggle with. And I think it is. But yeah, you're over the moon to finally be seeing like their feelings, how they feel about you. I think it's taken them a long time. I do think it's taken them a while to get to this point. And I think you respect that. Like I said, you have given them time. You haven't pushed even when you really, really wanted to. Like I'm seeing you rewriting texts before you send them, and maybe even after you've sent them, you're just checking like, was that too emotional? Was that too much pressure? Yeah, I think you're very aware of this person and their limits because you want this to be something. You want this person in your life and in your future. So I think you're willing to make that sacrifice and be lighter than you want to be. I think you pull back sometimes, even when you don't want to, because you want this to work out. So you really, really like this person, maybe even love. You definitely feel more in touch with your feelings than they are. But I think that's okay for you. I think you're willing to make that sacrifice. And I think it's paid off because now you're starting to see these emotions and these feelings, even though they're trying to hide them. I think you know them so well that you can see it. You can see it in their actions. You can see it like in their tone of voice. Let's get their next card now, actually, because we're back in their energy. So this is what this person is showing you right now, their behavior and actions towards you, the energy they're expressing on the surface. Judgment. Okay, so yeah, you've noticed a change in them recently. You've noticed this anxiety or this holding back. Maybe they've been a bit quieter than usual, or maybe they've just been trying to make things more light and more casual between you. And you aren't worried, I don't think. You're like, oh, I know what that means. So maybe they've done this before, and that's why you know what this means. I'm getting like retreating into video games or like their phone, online shopping. I'm also getting drinking too. I don't know why, but anyway, you know why they're being like this. You do. But we'll come back to you in a minute. Let's focus on your person for a second. So, what they're showing you right now is this anxiety. I feel like they're more careful about what they say right now. Like they're thinking through what they say before they say it. And you can tell. It's like they're scared of saying the wrong thing. They feel like this is a very critical time in your relationship for some reason. They could be on like a second chance or something. And I feel like if that's the case, they think about what happened between you before you broke up, or before you went into no contact, or before you had that argument, or whatever it is. They do still think about that. I think they think about that way more than you do, because I think you have this attitude of it's over, it's water under the bridge, we can move on. Whereas this person, I feel like they cling. I think they remember what they did wrong so that they don't do it again, because they really don't want to mess this up again. That's why they're taking so long to reply, because they're thinking through and rereading what they wrote and deleting it and rewriting it and making sure that it says what they want to say. And if they don't do that, I feel like they change the subject or they laugh it off because they can't handle that pressure. They don't want to get it wrong and risk ruining this. So they're really in their head. They're running things through their heads before they even open their mouth. And you've noticed, you have. I think they seem more present, more like involved, more engaged, but they're like holding back as well. What about you? Let's see what you're showing them right now. So this card looks at the energy you're expressing towards them, what they can see from you in this connection. You have the Devil. Oh, okay. Yeah, this makes sense to me. So I feel like you're 100% in this relationship. So what you're trying to do is you're not pushing them or asking them questions flat out, because I think you can't with this person. You know that you have to be more subtle than that. So what you're doing instead is leading them on. You're letting them know without overwhelming them that you want them. So a lot of flirting, a lot of teasing. I think you're very good at turning what you want to say or what you want to do into something that won't overwhelm your person. I think you know them very well. I think you speak their language very well. It's like you're telling them that it's okay and that they can, and that nothing bad is going to happen if they do. So I do think right now you're leading this relationship, but it's weird. You're leading it, but you're not chasing them. I think you're just making them feel comfortable and safe enough to chase you because you know they want to and you want them to. So I think you're trying to confirm to them without a doubt that you want them and that they can want you without overwhelming them. I feel like that's a line that you have to sort of walk. I think it's a bit tricky sometimes, but you're very good at it. I do think you're doing a very good job. And I do think it's working. The next card should actually tell us more about that. Let's see, what do we have? So this card is what your person isn't showing you, hidden feelings or thoughts that they may be keeping to themselves. You have the Five of Cups. Okay, so again, your person is dwelling on the past. Okay. And I know that you're doing everything you can to make them feel okay about it, but they are dwelling. They do still think about that mistake or that argument or how something happened between you. Not because anything's wrong now, but you know what this is making me think of? You know when you've upset someone or hurt someone and they forgive you and they're totally okay about it afterwards, but it makes you feel twice as bad than if they were still mad at you? That's what this is. This is them thinking, you know, they're too good to me, they're too kind, they deserve better than me. And I think it's thoughts like that that make them want to hide how they feel because they're replaying something that happened between you and they're thinking, if I could go back and undo it, I would. So this relationship, it means a lot to them, but they're finding it difficult to move on from this. I think even though you've forgiven them, they haven't actually forgiven themselves. Not yet, anyway. I think mentally they're still in that moment and wishing that they could go back and do things differently. So right now, things are going well between you. But I feel like this is what you know. You know that they're still stuck in that moment. And I feel like that's why you're trying to reassure them that everything's okay and that they can feel comfortable again and that you're not angry anymore. Let's actually get your next card now, because we're back in your energy. This is what you're not showing them, feelings or thoughts you may be keeping to yourself. You have the Magician. Yeah, see, this is exactly what I was saying. You know exactly what's going on with your person because you know them so well. You observe them, you see what works and what doesn't. So, like, you don't push them, you don't make them, you let them come to you while telling them that everything's okay and that they can. So you're very deliberate and you're very aware about what you do and what you say. Like I said, you rewrite messages, you also think before you speak. Because I think you also appreciate how crucial this time is in your relationship. I think you're in like a rebuilding phase right now. And I do detect a little bit of sadness from you. So I think you also wish something had played out differently with this person so that things could be the way they were before. But I don't know, it feels to me like you're more forward thinking. I think in your mind, you're like, well, you know, that happened. It's over, you know, we've had apologies. But we're still both here. We're both still trying. I've forgiven you. That's what I just heard was I've forgiven you. It's okay. I still want you. I still want this. So I think this is why you're so prepared to make those sacrifices that we were talking about earlier, because you want this to work. You want to get through this with this person because you love them. Very definite about that. And I think you're aware your person needs a little bit of guidance and a little bit of reassurance right now. Even if you aren't saying that, I think it shows in your actions, or you're trying to show that in your actions. And I think you know this person well enough that you know to do that, because words aren't going to work here. At least not heavy or emotional conversations. There's like this energy that you're trying to prove to them that nothing has to change, that nothing has changed, or if it has, you still want this and you still want them, and that you aren't giving up on them or on the relationship. So yeah, you're very determined. All right, so we're moving into the part of the reading now where we look at what's changing between you two this week. Let's see what we have. 5 of Wands. Yeah, so this makes sense to me. So this thing, whatever happened between you, whatever your person regrets, it's still there, right? It's still in the air between you because they haven't let it go. They haven't forgiven themselves yet. They're still in that moment. And I feel like the reason you keep trying to tell them it's fine without actually saying it's fine is because you can see how much this is affecting them, and also how much it's affecting your relationship. I feel like this is like a cloud over you. You know, it's always there. Whenever you two say anything, it's there. And it is because your person is thinking about what they say, where maybe they weren't like that before. I do feel like you two are more natural than you are now. And you're leading the relationship where maybe you weren't before. It's like it's changed your whole dynamic and you don't like it. I think you want to address this, but you don't want to overwhelm them. But at the same time, it's like they're worrying themselves silly over something that if they just asked you, if they brought it up, they wouldn't feel as bad as they do. You know, they wouldn't be holding the relationship back like this. You know, you two could relax. You could go back to how you were before. Maybe not exactly the same, but closer to where you were before than you are now. So I do feel like the change in your relationship is going to be that you're getting to a point where this issue in the past needs to be addressed. It's like you can't ignore it anymore. So a bit of a difficult card, but let's keep going. You have the 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, so it's changed the dynamic, right? Whatever happened, it's changed things between you two. But this is where things start to go back to normal. I'm going to warn you though, only because I think you're a very patient person based on what I've seen in your cards. This is going to take a while. Okay, it's going to take a while for things to go back to how they were. I don't think that you'll ever get back to exactly what you had before, but you will get back to a point where you can both relax again and just be yourselves. But as for this week, I see your person giving more. I really do. Not words, actions. But I think you already knew that. They're going to be checking in more, you know, replying quicker, maybe even texting first. Maybe, you know. And I think what you'll find happens after that is that they pull back. They pull back after giving a bit more. They will pull back because they need that space to self-regulate. And I think they'll pull back, you know, once one day and then twice the next. And This is basically them showing you that they're trying, they're sorry, they want this to work, they don't want to mess this up again. So you'll have to, whenever they pull back, you'll have to look and see where they've sort of given you more. It may be very subtle, but when they pull back, that means that they've given you more. Um, and I know you're sitting there thinking, but we're good, just go back to normal. But honestly, they need to do it this way. They need to know that they're showing you that they care. They need to worry and overcompensate here to be able to open up with you again. It's like helping them with that regret and that guilt from whatever they did in the past. So I think if you pay attention to these actions and you keep an eye out for when they're giving a bit more, you'll notice that they're getting more and more comfortable, more confident. It's just really slow, which is okay because I think you were expecting it, honestly. Let's get another card. You have the Hermit. Yeah, I was waiting for this card, to be honest. This is exactly what I was saying in the other card. You need to let them go at this speed. Okay, they need your loving and patient nature right now, because when they start giving more, they will need to pull back. And I think they're going to need to pull back in a way that they haven't in a while. Because right now, they're just pulling back mentally and emotionally. So they're keeping it light and breezy with you. But after they start giving you more to try and apologize for whatever they're still stuck on in the past, they will need space. They will need time alone to process what's going on, because it will be a lot for them. So expect them to take a while to text back after a few quick responses. Expect them to maybe even disappear for a few hours or maybe even longer. And this is very important. I think you already know this. They're not ignoring you. They're not ignoring you when they do this. They just need space to think, because this means so much to them. It's like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's exactly how this person feels about you. It means so much that they don't want to rush it. They don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to make another mistake with you, because they're already struggling to forgive themselves for the last one. So I do see distance almost immediately after you start getting close again. And I'm not going to lie to you, because like I said, I think you know. I really do think you know that when they disappear this time, when they put that distance between you, it's because they need time to think. With that being said, I'm sure you want to know what's coming after that distance. Let's get you another card on that. What do we have? You have the Six of Cups. Okay, so even though they're going to be taking some time for themselves, I think when they're with you, you're going to notice that they're relaxing again, which I'm sure you're relieved to hear. Again, it's slow. You're going to have to keep an eye out for it, but it's there. Things are going to start feeling more natural again and less careful between you two. You're going to feel closer to your old dynamic than you did before. It's like baby steps. That's what this is, baby steps. And this card is a card of the past, but don't worry, it's not that thing that your person is still stuck on. This will be nice memories. This will be the good times, you two reminiscing on things that you did together that you really enjoyed. And that's really helping both of you relax back into this relationship. I also think that communication, so texts between you, are going to feel less thought out and more natural again. And I think when you two start relaxing again, you'll realize that you two being able to be yourselves was a big part of your old dynamic. I feel like that's why you're missing it so much, and that's why you're going to enjoy it so much when it comes back. I think that you're going to relax back into it, no problem. And I think that's because of how much you've missed it. But for your person, like I said, it will take them time. I think once you feel that old dynamic coming back, you'll be able to easily fall back into it. I think your person will too, but again, immediately after, they're going to panic and go back to being careful. So I think you're going to have to do it a couple of times before they can trust it and stick with it. But yeah, you're getting back into your old dynamic through your memories. And I think it will be good for your person to remember the good from before, because they're really fixated on the bad right now. And I think they're going to need a little bit of help there, a little bit of guidance and reassurance from you. Let's, yeah, I think that's it for these ones. Let's get your last card now. You have the Fool. So this is where you two stand by the end of the week. And this is it. This is your new start with this person. But because you're dealing with a avoidant, I'm going to extend the time frame a little bit to around, let's say, a month. So this is only the start because, like I said, it's going to take some time. But what's really standing out to me here is that you're both prepared to put in the work. I think you just naturally go at different speeds. So this thing, whatever happened between you in the past, whatever's on your person's mind, whatever they're regretting, it's still there. But I think you get to a point where you're both looking at it differently. It could even be that your person is looking at it more like you. I think they just need some time to feel reassured and like this can still work out even after what happened. I think this card is really about things between you balancing out. So they're going to feel more able to focus on the present instead of the past and feel more able to be themselves and not be so careful. I think once they start doing that, you're going to feel more able to relax too. And like you don't have to carry this relationship. I don't think you'll feel like you have to reassure them as much. I think you'll be able to trust that if you leave it, that if you take a step back, if you pull back some of your energy that you've been given, that everything will be okay. So you see what I'm saying? You're both slowly going to be able to relax. Because I think where you've been so patient and so accommodating of them and their needs, maybe you've not realized that you're also doing something that you don't normally do, that your behavior has changed as well. You're not acting like you did before either. You're not actually relaxed right now either. So my advice here would be to reminisce on your good memories and let this take as much time as it's going to take, because if you do that, you start to see your relationship going back to the place of comfort where you can be relaxed and natural with this person again, where you can just be yourselves with each other again and stop all this overthinking that I think you're both doing. I think it's more obvious with your person, but I think you're doing it as well. All right, that's all that's coming through here. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope this gave you something to think about. I hope that it helped you in some way. But for now, I'll